The technical world and the creative world just fight it out in the mastering space. And you got to use both of those to be able to get the recording to feel great. Where I feel so connected to mastering is those two worlds combine. I'm Duncan Ferguson, and I'm a mastering engineer and a disc cutter here at the Voltage Exchange in East Nashville. Being able to get lost in recording, having a recording be enveloping, is a wonderful feeling. If I can create that through my mastering work for other people and have the same feelings that I get when I listen to recordings, is just an awesome idea. A few other mastering engineers have said, mastering's really easy, you just have to know how recorded music should sound. But I just felt like I had that already inside of me. I really love the idea of the mastering engineer sort of have one foot in the creative aspect, you have one foot in just the transfer process. And then I also say that mastering engineers are kind of like the librarian of the project. Have the final medium and you're having to house the creative work inside of something and then get that out into the world. Putting an album together, you're kind of like deep into creating a playlist sometimes, oversee the medium that it's going on to. Everything in the mastering space, and also preserving history. Setting up a lathe and learning how to cut is a huge undertaking, actually more so than what a lot of people can do. I was doing a lot of mastering for vinyl, and then it was going on to other cutting engineers. And then I get the vinyl back and I'd realized how much they had changed. And I felt like some things had been compromised where I felt like if I had more control over, I'd be able to get something that fit better to what I thought the original work was. And I realized that a lot of artists who are doing vinyl for the first time had no idea what that stuff got cut to a lacquer, and then it went on to get plated, and then it went on to the pressing plant, and that each one of those steps, the audio could be enhanced or changed or have issues along the way. If I was cutting these, I could actually help the artist walk through some of these processes as well and be able to be sort of a liaison and look over the process and be able to create some really good sounding vinyl. For respect of the artists too, it's like, why do you have to send this to mastering engineers? The whole job of the mastering engineer is to do the transfer to all mediums. That's something that bothered me internally. Because we have plating here in Nashville available, we could keep everything local in Nashville, and I can oversee test pressings and help the artist listen to test pressings properly. In the world of cutting, we're not actually able to listen to the actual groove that gets cut during the cut. We have to either listen to beforehand or listen to it after the fact. SPL, man, the DMC alone, having a central workstation where I can connect everything together in my studio, it makes cutting really, really easy. Having the SPL console, having a number of different input sources on the desk, I can easily have a really quick workflow to do a test cut, listen to it, record it back in, evaluate what's going on, and then redo that step over and over and be able to flip sources around. Having a master fader on the desk and then having the ability of being able to check the mono and the difference, like mid-side information really, really quickly on the desk. Everything is just really easily available and in front of me, and I'm able to move around without having to rewire or redo anything from other options that are out there. And then having the Hermes connected really can supercharge that with all of my gear. I can have gear in any order. I don't think that option exists on other units. To have like a fixed chain, especially in our really fast world, I think is really limiting. Having multiple sources, tape machine, a lathe, and then having to audition off of a turntable sometimes just to check for quality stuff with a cut. Having that all hooked up to the DMC and then having all my elbow gear on the Hermes is just, everything is completely flexible. I can do anything I want. That was my draw into the SPL gear. On top of that, having the power rails that they have as clean can get. And in mastering, it's those little domino effects. I couldn't find a product that had what the Hermes is capable of. I've been finding with the Vitalizer and the Transient Designer, if I get something in that maybe a mix is curated to be really compressed, kind of what we call overcooked a little bit for vibe and energy, and we want to retain that, I'm able to use these sort of pieces of gear to sort of get some transient back out of it and have a little more wiggle room and space to work while still retaining some of the vibe that was kind of cooked into that a bit. Having a transient available for a cutting is actually a lot easier to work with than having something that's square waved or compressed. So I've been using these products to try to figure out how to get better cuts. So the Vitalizer is really great. It really can kind of open things up a bit, but it's able to sort of give you a bit more of depth in the image. If I'm driving the tube inside of it a little bit more and using the stereo expander with a little bit of the bass compression in it, I'm actually able to control some low end and actually get a little more depth into the image with the Vitalizer. Mixes that come in that feel a little like flatter in the image, where there's not a lot of movement going on, I'm able to kind of open up ever so slightly, and like it feels like the vocal just becomes slightly more 3D. Like you're able to get these layers in place that maybe didn't exist in the mix. Every piece of gear that I buy, it's got to have a Swiss Army knife quality to it. The SPL world is completely that for me. I can do everything from classical all the way up to really, really loud pop music. My workflow through the SPL stuff, I wouldn't have it any other way. I would be a much more frustrated engineer without it.